management complains about boards that agonize about making decisions while micromanaging building operations. What are some examples of typical board decision-making problems?
With newer boards, there's just a chemistry issue. And they don't get along. They have problems making decisions. And sometimes the managing agent is or is not helping the situation.
In this business, so many people believe, oh, I could do that. What's there to know? I could manage property. But it's what they don't know that hurts them.
The problem sometimes comes in, you have 7 people, 9 people, different opinions. It's very hard to get feedback and opinions from everyone.
How do you do that? How do you force a board that keeps putting off an issue, deciding on an issue month to month? You keep turning up on the agenda, we have to do X, Y, or Z, and they never do it. I mean, how do you manage that?
We do have action items that are on hold,
right,
and they stay on the agenda until the board does make a decision about it.
When they micromanage, I mean, Alvin, what is the biggest problem with that?
They're doing so thinking in some ways that they know better than the professional. The board, the owners, they're the boss. They hired us. They own the property, and the final decision is theirs. But what we need to do as professionals is give the best advice we can with 30 or more years experience in the industry. If we do our jobs right, the boards will then feel more comfortable and not micromanage as much.
But how long does it take for a board to become comfortable? I mean,
respect and confidence from a board is earned. You don't get it when you walk in the door. I think people look at managing agents, I don't think they look at them in the same way they look at doctors. Okay, they walk into a doctor's office and they feel that, okay, they have this degree and they've studied medicine and they've seen patients who may have the similar ailment that you have. Managing agents, we have to really work hard to earn their respect and to earn their confidence.
It may take some time. It's a relationship. You come out of a bad relationship and you're a little wary. But I think if right off the bat you show them and you present to them all the information they need to make decisions and subtly guide them, I would hope that the conversion would be relatively smooth and quickly.
Okay, well, is the ideal situation then having a manager gather the information and presents it to them? A board makes the big decisions and the final decisions.
Ideally, the board would set policy and allow management to implement that policy for them. Also, again, to establish trust, I think you need to have a frank discussion on the board. What decisions am I allowed to make, and what decisions do you want to be pulled in on a day-to-day basis? Am I dealing with the board president? Am I dealing with the board president and the treasurer? Or are we communicating by email and we're all going to discuss this?
Trust doesn't mean that you turn a blind eye to what's going on. It's a constant open door of communication between management and the board.
Does it work best if you have a liaison to the board?
There has to be 1 or 2 point people on the board that the managing agent can go to when issues arise. Because, again, if you have to individually communicate with 7, 9, 11 people, it's just, you're never going to get anywhere.
There are certain issues the whole board needs to be aware of. Financial issues, typically, the treasurer has great input, and the president, at least from my experience, is typically involved in most decisions or most issues.
Well, what if you get a situation where the board president is autocratic, and he says, I make the decisions, and he tells you this is what you're going to do?
That's an agenda item for a board meeting. And I do have boards that you deal with the president, and the president deals with the board, and that's the way they have it set up, and I make sure that all my communication's in a row. I have other boards that want all 7 involved, and they're very diligent about responding, so it's very different.
If the board president is asking management to do something that's not in the minutes and not in the budget, it then has to go back to the board.
What about the opposite, where you have the majority of the board seems to be okay with making the decisions, and maybe a couple of board members disagree with the decision, and we're going to go talk to the tenants in the building about it?
That's really counterproductive. It undermines the board, and I think that's a very wrong thing. We have to be facilitators, and we have to push the board into a position where they make a decision when it matters, when they have to make a decision.